Amen. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. First and foremost, I'd like to start this lesson by giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Next is double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this 100% truth. Salutations unto the 144,000 doing the work of the Lord in truth, honor, and sincerity. And shalom to the 1/3 men, women, and children who believe in this word being taught unto them. Shabbat, I'm Noah Allah, back at you with another lesson entitled Men Are Choosing Peace Now. You know, because pretty much men collectively are tired of the females bullshit, man. You know, because it's like it's just a never-ending battle of trying to get things right, and then you get that set of things right, and then it becomes, basically it's a story of the goalpost is just consistently being moved. First is you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't do this enough. Then you start to do those things, right? Then it becomes another set of things you don't do. So it's like you can never please the woman. And really and truly, we should know that, because when you look at Eve, right? Eve had everything, okay? She didn't have to go indulging in another philosophy. But guess what? She did. So that goes to show you, so not even the Heavenly Father could please the woman. And that's crazy. And obviously that was, obviously, if he's the Heavenly Father, how of course he knows what to do. But I mean, he just put it in their spirit to where, they're just well, rather than me say it, I'll let the scripture speak. This is the book of Job 39 and verse 17, and it reads, because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. And that's the problem with these modern day women, is that they've been deprived of wisdom and they don't have understanding. However, because we live in this feminized society, they're running around masquerading like they've got all the idea, all the gear, no idea is really what it is, But you can't tell them that, because from young, I remember being in school, and the notion that was pushed was that women develop faster than men, girls are smarter than boys, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like that programming was embedded in us from infant stage. You see, that was embedded in us from infant stage. And the scriptures say clearly in the book of Proverbs, the 22nd chapter, to train up a child in the way that he should go, when he's older he shall not depart from it. So what did that breed? That breeded this simp ass society where it's all about woman worship. I was doing a live yesterday and I was walking in the park and I had this fat ass Jake dude with his fat ass Edomite woman, and I could kind of hear them speaking behind me. And then it got to a certain part, and rather than the man just take the lead and say, we're going that way, he said in his little bitch voice, oh, which way would you like to go? This way or that way? So she's calling the shots. And this is the society that we're in now. But you're allowing the creature who has been deprived of wisdom and understanding to call the shots. Now, the problem that we have is that you're dealing with a species of people who don't actually know what they want. How many times have you heard a woman say, they want like when you ask a woman what's your type, they're going to tell you the nice guy, the guy that brings you flowers, the guy that writes you good morning baby and I love you every single day and good night and sweet dreams every single night, she gonna tell you that's the kind of guy that she wants. But then what do you see? She ends up getting knocked up by Pookie and Ray Ray. Smokes weed all day. His trousers are below his ass. He don't respect her. Probably lays hands on her. Right? Deals with other women, which is not a problem. But in this society, they make it a problem. Let me just clarify that. But that's the nigga she gonna settle with. But then you ask her what type of guy she likes, and she gonna say she likes the nice guy. So how can you please a species who don't even know what they require to be pleased? And that's why you have this video here. Okay, by the beloved brother. His channel's name is GMS Dedication. Subscribe to his page. A growing sentiment of female fatigue. Men are now choosing inner peace. It's a half-an-hour video, and it's just a bunch of men, you know, talking about how they're replacing women with peace. You know, and if you've ever lived with a woman, especially a contentious woman, you will understand why modern day men are taking this stance. You know, there's one particular individual. I'm not gonna play it because he literally this dude here, yeah. Because if I play it, it's literally like 10 minutes of this video, and I ain't got that kind of time. But he was breaking it down, man. He done been with so many different women, and it was always the same result. You know, 1 minute you can't do anything wrong. You're so perfect. You just, you know, you just do everything correct. You're never wrong, and then all of a sudden you can't do nothing right. All of a sudden. And this is really what it's like dealing with these modern day women. You know? And then women will complain, oh yeah, men don't approach anymore, because listen, bro, we ain't here to feed your fucking egos, man. A lot of you women want men to approach just so that you can have the pleasure of rejecting them and you can make them the butt of your joke. I did a video on that just last week. This woman talking shit, talking about, oh yeah, when she dresses a certain way, she doesn't do it for guys. So are you a dyke then? Because you didn't strike me as a dyke. So who'd you do it for? So they're all full of shit. As it says again in Job 39:17, because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her understanding. All right. So you're literally dealing with a bunch of bug outs when it comes to these women. And the reason why they're so bugged out is because the world allows them to be on their bugged outness. Like I was in a work meeting last week, and what came up, man? They mentioned something, man. It was like a joke. I can't remember exactly what was said, but it was along the lines of women are better than men. And it's just like, as a man, here's the thing: as a man, you just got to sit there and take it. Yeah. But if it's the other way around, oh, you're a misogynist. Oh, you're a sexist. You're discriminating. You see how backwards it is, man? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 9. It reads, "It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house." And this is what usually happens. This is why our elder apostles, they've said, you know, if you deal with a woman, you have your own place, she has her own place, and every now and then she comes over, stays a couple days, whatever. You get tired of her, all right, babe, you need to go, and vice versa. But all that, oh yeah, let's move in together, babe. That all moving together, hey man, a lot of the time it goes left. You know, because them demons be at play. Because here's the thing, right? You know, demons jump on all of us. Let's establish that. You know, we be in this truth, and just because we're in this truth doesn't mean we don't battle demons. We battle demons, all right? Especially more so because we're in this truth. And these women battle demons also. However, the difference between you know, the men of the Lord serving Yahweh Hashem Yahshai and these women is that we actively try to combat these demons, right? These women don't do the same. These women they engage in the darkness of their minds, you know, because what you need to understand is that not every thought that you have is yours. All right, just because you hear a voice in your head saying something in your voice doesn't mean that that's you. So you have to understand that, okay? Demons hop on all of us, but it's about actively combating those demons. However, the scriptures tell us how the women are the weaker vessel. But then feminism has taught them that they're the stronger vessel and that they can come past a man and that anything a man can do, they can do better. So do you see the problem with the dynamic that we have today? And why these women are masquerading about the place the way they are, and why ultimately now men don't even want to deal with women, man. Men would rather just, you know, just not have sex. And if it really gets down to it, they'd rather just beat their meat and go to sleep. Because men are done with all the bullshit, man. You know? Hey, and you know what? Apostle Paul, he said it first. Well, he said it best. You know? He let us know what the deal is and what to do. And if you can't do it, then here's the consequences. So this is 1 Corinthians 7:27. It says, "Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loose from a wife? Seek not a wife." So yeah, you know, if you got a wife now, doesn't mean you just kick her to the curb and bye. Because ultimately, you now gonna make that woman commit adultery. However, if the Lord has it to where he removes her from your life, then so be it. Okay? And if you're loose from a wife, I mean, you ain't got a woman, don't even bother seeking one, man. Because even the elder brother Kazak Allah, he mentioned it in a live not too long ago. Having a woman on the side really is overrated. Now we ain't gonna lie, we men, we all have a bit of box. That's a given. However, the whole idea of you know, when you have a woman on the side, you're not experiencing it the way you think you'd experience it, man. And it comes with its troubles as well, as Apostle Paul expounds on here. All right, verse 1 Corinthians 7:28. But and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned, and if a virgin marry, she have not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. You see, you're gonna have trouble in the flesh because you're gonna have to deal with women and their bullshit. That's that trouble in the flesh. You're gonna have to deal with her always complaining. You're gonna have to deal with her always changing your expectations, never being happy. You're gonna have to deal with her just saying that you're not doing enough, you know. And then on top of that, she can't do nothing wrong. Notice that whenever you talking to a chick, and you know you ask about her ex and whatnot, and oh yeah, what happened at this, that, or blah blah. Notice how the chick never says, well, you know what, I was a bit of an asshole, or do you know what, I cheated on him, or do you know what, I was annoying, I was always complaining, I was contentious, I was not submissive. You never hear that. It's always, oh, he this, he that, he this, and he that. And then you get with that same woman, and then you start to see why her previous relationship didn't work. But you see, in the eyes of women, they don't do no wickedness. That's why, you know, they're quick to tell you you ain't doing X, Y, Z. But then when you tell them the same thing, they you know, it don't register. Because you know, accountability is a feature that hasn't been embedded in these modern day women. But they don't know that they're gonna have to be held accountable for the thing that they've said and done, as it says in Matthew 12 and 36. Let's get that real quick. Yep, the word it says, "But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak," that goes for you women too, "they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned." All right, because a lot of you women masquerade about the place, talking about you don't need no man, anything a man can do, I can do better. I don't need a man for protection, and then I don't need a man for anything. But then guess what? You get in that car, right? And you drive over that glass, and you pop your tire, and you call in a man to help you. Or even like in the winter, you get in that car, it's snowing, you get stuck in the snow, and then you expect a man to come help you. But in every other situation, it's, oh, I don't need a man, I'm independent. Anything a man can do, I can do better. So why do you need men for assistance? And men ain't giving a fuck no more, man. I was driving yesterday, and I saw this man just screaming at this woman in traffic, all up in her window, screaming at her. Do you think a Captain Saberholt came out to, "Hey, excuse me," to her defense? No. People just sat in their cars and they watched. You had a bunch of kids on the other side of the road. They were just watching the situation, laughing their heads off. All that, oh yeah, you just expect Captain Saberholt to come save the day. And then you might give him a little thank you, but he asked for your number, and you give him Tesco customer service. Look, those days are over, man. It tells you in Isaiah 32 how a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind. And that's not just any man, that's an Israelite man of the elect of the nation of Israel. Lord willing, we be of that number. We're going to be that hiding place from the wind representing the destruction that's about to befall this place. Because men are tired, man. Men just want peace. And this is the thing, men are very simple creatures, man. You know, a lot of the times, I can sit in the house all by myself in complete quietness, man. And I'm happy. Women can't do that. Women always got to have something playing, and it's always got to be playing so fucking loud as well. You know, it's always got to be on the loudest, because really what it is that they're running away from themselves. They're running away from their thoughts, and they don't want to have a quiet moment where they sit down and reflect. But because they don't do that, they don't sit down and reflect, they end up just repeating the same wickedness over and over again and wondering why they ain't getting different results. So men have clocked the game, and men are like, nope. Because you see, one thing these women like to say is that, oh, I'm different. You're all the fucking same. You all do the same shit. You all do the same shit, man. Rinse and repeat. Proverbs 30 and 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. And then Yahweh Shai say that we're in this wicked and adulterous generation. Right? She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness. She gonna step out on you. She gonna get with another dude. She gonna come back home, and you catch her out, and it's, oh, I've done no wickedness. Or she just straight up lying. That's why, back to this video here, men today are choosing peace. Men, you got the passport bros, you got man going abroad. And you see, that's the funny thing as well, is that rather than women, see, women are very different to men, you know. Rather than a woman sit there and think to themselves, you know what, rah, why do men feel like they have to go all the way across the world to meet with a decent woman when you've got plenty of women over here? They don't think like that, because it's all pride, it's all ego, lack of accountability. They interpret it as you lame, or you can't draw nothing here, so you gotta fly overseas for it. Not because remember, the problem is never them. They're permanently the victim. But when you actually, you know, discuss with men, and you know they get into it with the kind of thing that they deal with, a lot of men are victims of reactive abuse, emotional abuse, psychological manipulation, all sorts of things. But what it is that, hey man, I've said this many times, in this game, men are incredibly misinformed. Women are kind of given the game from their mamas, their aunties, um, their aunties, their friends, their older sisters, their cousins. Men, not necessarily so. And if they do get that kind of guidance, it's some simp ass instruction booklet, some simp ass instructions that you're being told to do. And when you operate like that, it doesn't allow these women to respect you. But at the end of the day, man, simp, alpha male, whatever, look, these women gonna do what they want to do, man. All right. So because you got people in high positions and their women still stepping out on them. Jeff Bezos is an example that comes to mind. His wife divorced him, man. Took a shit ton of his money. But hey, Jeff Bezos, he's gone clear. You know? You have a man who will give you all your heart's desires, and it still won't be enough. You still gonna seek another man. Alright? Sirach 25:13 says, "Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman." So you see, man would rather have the plague of the heart, any other wickedness, but the wickedness of the woman? Oh, no, 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 no. You see, unless you've experienced that, you be like, oh, wow. Because I remember when the elder apostles, years back, they would talk about, oh, yeah, don't move in with a woman, have your own spot. And you'd be like, you just be kind of young and naive, thinking, like, what's the worst that can happen? Hey, trust me, bro. I know now. That's what I'm gonna say. I know now, man. So look, man, take it from the elder apostles, man. You're dealing with a woman, man. You ain't got, oh, baby, come, move into my place. Fuck all of that shit. Have your own space. Your home is your sanctuary. All right. You want to be in a peaceful setting, and you want to use that space to dwell with Sophia, wisdom, not battling a woman that's jealous over another woman, because that's what happens in this truth. Because yeah, wisdom is a feminine spirit. So it's like, whether they realize it or not, they see you going hard for your Halba Shem Yashai as you dealing with another woman, which is why these women, they try and slow you down sometimes. Oh, do you really have to go every Saturday? Do you always have to be reading that Bible? Do you always have to be doing those lessons? Or, babe, what about me? What about time for me? And you see? 14, and any affliction but the affliction from them that hate me, and any revenge but the revenge of enemies. There is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. I'd rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. See that? And a lion will maul you, man. A lion will stop you in your tracks, man. A lion will ensure you don't see tomorrow. But man are saying here that they would rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. And you see, a woman would read that, and rather than be like, raw, man, like this is deep. And maybe there's something I could do or I could work on to change, because men really feel this way. Yeah, men really genuinely feel this way. Okay? But you see, again, because she's done no wickedness, it don't become a thing where she has to address anything. All it becomes is, what's the one that they like to say? He just can't handle me, bro. Any woman that says to you, "Oh, you just can't handle," or a lot of men can't handle me, or whatever. Listen, you run for that hill, man. That is trouble right there. Don't try and tame her. Don't just run. Next, okay. 17. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face, and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Which is why we see a lot of these Eves out here, man. A lot of them look like demons, man. A lot of them, you just look at that, you give them one look and you see that countenance, man, and you know that they're wicked. You know that they be on some bullshit. You just know, man. And look at the embarrassment. 18, the wickedness of, 19, so 18, what I'm talking about. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly. Yeah, what's he hearing about? Oh, yeah, see when you took that work trip, yeah, and he was gone for a couple of days, some dude, your wife brought some dude in the house, her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, that the portion of a sinner fall upon her. But this is the same group of species where we're meant to be following them. Even though all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, I'm meant to follow after the woman when I'm seeking after righteousness. Does that make sense in your mind? Does that sound correct to you? As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. She's always she's just contentious. She's always giving it the gob. She's always complaining. She can't wait to complain. Them gal there, they just can't wait to complain. I actually conjured up that phrase not that long ago. Was like, rah. There's actually people out here that can't wait to complain. And that sounds mad as it is, but it is mad. Hey, Elder Apostle Gabar said, what did he say, man? He said the nigger woman is most happy when they're miserable. The nigger woman's most happy when they're miserable. And you know what? I was speaking to an older fella, an older Benjamin dude. He's about 64 years of age in my gym. And I made that statement to him, and he was laughing his head off, man. And then he proceeded to tell me about how there's this auntie in his family, and I think his son was calling to say, I don't know, I don't remember what her name is. So let's just call her Auntie Beverly. So the son asked, "Oh, how's Auntie Beverly?" And what did he say? Oh yeah, still always complaining as usual. And you know what the son said? Oh, okay, yeah, then so she's good then. And we was laughing, man, because a lot of these nigger women, man, they're the most happiest when they're miserable. And how is that the case? Because I mean, if you're willing to put yourself in a miserable mindset consistently, when there's any out of all the emotions that there is to choose from, you choose to operate in a negative mind frame, you choose to complain, you choose to be miserable, then that's clearly where you want to be. So once again, the nigger woman is most happy when she's miserable. All right. Proverbs 9:13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She's simple and knoweth nothing. And that's the thing, man. What does it mean to be clamorous? Just at the mouth all the time. Let's see what it says in the blue letter. I've never actually pulled up in the blue letter. Shrugs H 1993 Hamar. Here we go. Look at that. To murmur. Oh, babe, can you pass me the fork? All of that growling, roar, cry aloud. She's screaming her head off, arguing with you. You tell her why you shouting. She told you she's not shouting. Rage, sound, make noise, tumult, be clamorous. So this. Let's see this. Clamorous is an adjective which is describing people, voices, or environments that are conspicuously, loudly, or incessantly noisy. It indicates a chaotic, tumultuous outcry or aggressive demands such as a clamorous crowd or clamorous demands. It implies often obnoxious refusal to be silent, according to vocabulary.com. So a lot of these women are just straight up obnoxious, man. Let's see some of the synonyms. So the Bible told us first, man, to be boisterous, be turbulent. You see, to roar, just always roaring, just always got an issue, man. But that's why, again, men are choosing inner peace, man, which really is not meant to be that way, man. You know, when you get a wife, you know, she's meant to be a pillar of rest unto you, man. She's supposed to be a pillar of rest. Here we are. Sirach chapter 36 and 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. And a lot of you women are not a pillar of rest. A lot of you women are a pillar of stress. Here it is, you know, having a woman is a full-time job. Here it is, you gotta work the job, you gotta deal with Esau at the job, you gotta come home, deal with the nigga woman at home. That's another job. So you ain't getting that pillar of rest for the most part. And if you do have that, hey man, all praises be unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So back to Sirach 25. And we was at 20, so I'll read 20 again. It says, as the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for her pleasure. And you know, men really are in that spirit, man. You know, I was in the gym yesterday, and you know, I saw these two chicks from across the gym. No, that's not the first time I've seen them. And you know, when I tell you, man, the bitch was, look, it was two of them, right? But one of them, of course, had to be the Edomite chick. She was pretty much naked, man. And it was a hot day yesterday, so no excuse. She had some brown tracksuit bottoms on, right? And just a bra. Literally just a bra. And you see, this is the thing, in that specific gym, you know, I remember when I first joined it, it said, you know, you're not allowed to kind of have your top off and all of that. You're, you know, all trying to flex your muscles and that's top off, shirt off, whatever, blah, blah, within the vicinity of the gym. But then they've got like a, what do you call it, a posing mirror. And then that's where you can do that. But it's like, but oh, when it comes to the woman, it don't matter. You got a bitch literally naked, bro. She's in a fucking bra and tracksuit bottoms training. And you know, she locked eyes at me from across the gym, and then she come train right next to me, man. And you know what? I was gonna say something to her, start a little conversation, but then at the same time, I'm not giving you that validation. Because what you gotta understand is that a lot of these women, you know, the way they move and the thing that they do it for validation, man. And I mean, I'm just not always willing to give you that validation that you're desperately seeking for. Other men might, but I'm a bit more, do you know what I'm saying? You know, each to their own. But I can only tell you about my experience, man. Right? So yeah. And also, you know, because I was around some other dudes as well, when she came over, or when they came over, literally right next to me. And the funny thing is they was even doing the exact same is that they was pointing at me and they're smiling and this, that, blah, blah. And then they come right next to me doing the exact same exercise I was doing. And I just like, I'm not gonna give you that validation, man, because you know why? You know, I don't like dealing with chicks who are attention hungry, because I see them all the time. With that Edomite chick especially, I see her all the time, man, and she's always trying to, you know, catch dudes' attention, man. I don't really like women like that personally. That's not really my type, you know. But I mean, even like the men that was around me, you know, no one's really paying them a mind like that. Obviously, man, look, you know, man's a man, but you know, because you got women in that video talking about how men don't approach no more, men don't start conversation no more. Because hey, man, again, you look, that bitch will be dressed pretty much naked, right? But then claim that She ain't doing it for a man. And then when a man comes over to talk to her, she offended. But it's like, bro, what do you fucking expect, man? Like, what did you really expect was gonna happen when you left your house looking like that? You in the gym, men are working out, there's testosterone, like, you know? Oh yeah, but keep looking at me. Well, fucking put some clothes on then. Simple as. Ain't no one but you want to be looked at. But men ain't falling for the bait, man. Men just want peace. You see, men are different. Men come in, do the exercise, get out, man. You see a couple man, make eye contact, a couple man, nod their head, yo, whatever, might make a little 1-2 conversation, get on with it, and get the fuck out of there, man. You women come through, you want to wear the shortest shorts. You want to wear the shorts where you want to wear the leggings where you can see the ass crack, cleavage. You bending over. When a man's looking, oh yeah, why is he looking at me? Oh, why is he looking at? Look, man, men are tired. That shit ain't working no more, man. That shit ain't working. That shit ain't running, bro. Right? Sirach 25 and 22. If a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. Yeah, if she maintaining you, man. You know, that's why, like, even, hey, something I had to learn as well. You know, all that trying to go, oh, yeah, you know, you going 50-50. Hey, 50-50 is not where it's at. It's 100 or nothing, man. That's why you get a woman, you deal with a woman, you get your own place, you have your own place, you have your own setup, you have your own life outside of her. And then every now and again, she comes into your world. You don't make her your world. Because when it comes to these women, it's about leverage. So if you're trying to operate on some 50-50 dynamic, man, don't expect her to have that respect for you. Which really she still should, but you know, we in this wicked world, man, and we just have to deal with the facts, deal with reality, and deal with what's really going on out here. You can sugarcoat it, you can stick your head in the sand and act like it's not what it is, but this is what it is, bro. This is what it is. All right. It says a wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees. And I've said to women before, you've got the power to build up a man or break down a man. It all depends on what you do and what you say. But you know it's a guy. He can't make decisions, or he's always jittery. He's always unsure of himself. I guarantee you, his woman's giving him hell at home. But a man that's looked after, cooked for, fed, fucked, right? That man, he gonna have confidence. He gonna have courage. He gonna be in his masculine vibration. You see? And the Heavenly Father did this to us because we transgressed the law, statutes, and commandments. So right now, we're bearing the indignation of the Lord because we sinned against him. That's why our women are so out of order. All right? But I told you in Micah 7, man, and she that is my enemy shall see it, man. And trouble shall come past her. All right? And she's going to be trodden down like the mire in the streets. And then guess what? Verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. So you want me to follow the creature whereby came the beginning of sin, and whereby through her we all die. That doesn't sound like a wise decision, right? Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gather abroad. Yeah, and this is the thing. The moment you come with that, oh no, hey baby, you know, I don't want you going out all the time, or I don't want you going out to the club with your girls, or when you do go out, I don't want you wearing this and this and wearing something. That becomes a problem. All right, then it becomes, oh, you're controlling, you're too controlling. Women think that being a traditional woman is likened onto captivity. And that's how you know Esau's witchcraft, he really did a number with his witchcraft. You've got women out here who believe that being a traditional, feminine, submissive woman is captivity. This is the world that we live in today. Verse 26, if she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bit of divorce and let her go, man. Sometimes you just gotta let that bitch go. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but you just gotta let that bitch go. This is Sirach, chapter 26, and verse 1. It says, blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. And this is why you got a lot of women out here that outlive men. Because men are constantly caught up in the stress, trying to please the woman, trying to get it right, and just never getting it right. Because men just never get it right. And I've been there as well. It gets to a point where it's like, well, fuck it. You gonna get it wrong anyway. So fuck it. Right? A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. Now, you got brothers in the truth that have experience with wicked wives in this truth. Does that mean that brother is wicked? No. But it's just about understanding that, well, this earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and the kind of influence and example that these women have is what drives them to be the way that they are. And this is the thing, man. This is where Sophia comes in. Verse 4, whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart toward the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. So as long as you dwell in with wisdom, Sophia, the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, you always gonna have a cheerful countenance. You always gonna be good. And that's facts, man. That is facts. Okay? Verse 5, there be three things that mine heart feareth, and for the fourth I was sore afraid, the slander of a city, the gathering together of an unruly multitude, and a false accusation. All these are worse than death. But a grief of sorrow and heart is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. So, hey man, when you dealing with a woman that's jealous of another woman, that's a very dark place to be. That's a very dark place to be. And you see, women don't understand that it's within a man's right to have more than one woman. It says 7 women shall take hold of one man, not 7 men take hold of one woman. It says an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that have hold of her is as though he had held a scorpion. A drunken woman and a gather abroad cause of great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. And that's one thing you realize about these broads, man. A lot of them don't have no shame, bro. A lot of them don't mind putting you to shame because they don't know nothing about pride and dignity. Now, yeah, ultimately, we don't want to be in a prideful spirit. However, every man, to a certain degree, has a level of pride. Like you wouldn't want to. We just read that in Sirach 25. You wouldn't want to be that guy where your neighbors are telling you, "Oh, pal, yeah, I saw your woman coming with some other." You don't want that happening, bro. But yet she will bring that to you because, you know, uh, she will not cover her own shame. Because remember, in her mind, she hasn't done any wickedness. They never do any wickedness. They've always got it right. They're always perfect. The shit don't stink. You know, it's always just the guy. So men are tired of that game, and you know, are getting to the point where it's like, do you know what? I'm just not gonna deal with a woman. I'm just not gonna deal with a woman. Getting in that Apostle Paul spirit. Like, do you know what, Apostle Paul? You know what? I didn't hear you back then. I hear you now, and you're right. You're right, man. This is the book of Proverbs 31:3. It says, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways which to that which destroyeth kings. So, you know, you got a lot of guys that go above and beyond for these hoes, man. And then they wonder why they're not respected. They wonder why they're always getting stepped over like stairs. And then you got a Tyrone, a Pookie, a Ray Ray, who treats her like nothing but shit. And somehow he's clapping cheeks. And you just there dropping her to shopping, bringing her back home, getting a hug, if you're lucky. If you're lucky. Right? So I'm going to read a couple of these, but I'm not going to read the whole thing, but, you know, you can in your own time. So Proverbs 31:10, description of a worthy woman. It says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evils all the days of her life, and these nigga women do evil, man. All the time. Okay? But a Proverbs 31 woman will do her man good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She makes things. She makes clothes and beddings and garments, right? She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while there is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. But now that's like slavery, bro. You mean I gotta cook for you? What you done for me? Everything is. The problem is in 2026, relationships have become transactional. It's like, yeah, I can do this for you, but you got to do this for me. It's never just, oh, I just did this for you out of the kindness of my heart. And the funny thing is, when you just do things out of the kindness of your heart, hey, man, that's an energy, that's a vibration that you're putting out there, and that's going to be returned onto you one way or another, man. But when you're doing things just, you know, just tick box, not genuinely, not from the kindness of your heart, you know, that in turn can actually end up working against you, man. So you always got to be mindful of the spirit you're doing things in. If you're giving someone money, what kind of spirit are you giving that person money in? You know, if you need to give someone a ride somewhere, what kind of spirit are you doing it in? You see? um, where was that? Yep. She considereth a field and buyeth it with the fruit of her hands. She planteth a vineyard. Yep. And you know, they say a woman turns a house into a home. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. Because, yeah, being a housewife and that, man, doing all that, washing the clothes and all of that, dealing with the children. You women don't need to be in no motherfucking gym. You don't need to be in no motherfucking gym, man. All you need to do is your role. And you gon' burn enough calories and you know, be able to maintain your shape just being a woman. But now, the modern day women, what do? They just sit at home, get in front of the TV, and just do nothing. Eating the Ben and Jerry's, eating all the sweet stuff, the cakes, the yogurts, the sweets, the chocolates, just putting on weight. Then it turns into, oh, you gotta love me for who I am, right? You know, you got Salaki, that's what they say. You gotta love me unconditionally, man. But then they want you to be in the gym. They want you to be on top of your workout regime and on top of keeping yourself in shape. But when it comes to her, it's just, what do you bring to the table? I'm the table. I mean, darling, with all that junk you be eating, I think at this point you a bit more than the table, baby. Okay. So yeah, as I said, I'm not gonna read all of Proverbs 31, but the point pretty much has been made on that. And yeah, as I said, women, sorry, not women, men are choosing peace now. And if that means not dealing with a woman, then so be it. Now you got certain other men who, they they're not able to do that. As in where this neighbor of mine's always got some shit going in. So like, it kind of lost my trail of thought now. I'm being a bit nosy, Slack, yo. Yeah, so that's what's up, man. And then, I know certain individuals. That's what I say. I know certain individuals who they just don't have the strength to leave the woman. They know that the woman is the source of their problems. They know that they've told her the same thing 1,000 times over, and she's still not listening, but they just don't have the strength to leave. You've also got those segment of men. But more and more, increasingly, you've got men in that spirit of hey, fuck this shit, man. I'm not dealing with this no more. I done tried with X amount of people, and it's always the same thing, man. It's never really anything different when it comes to these women. It's always the same kind of scenarios, the same kind of problem. Because when you talk to a man and he opens up to you about things he's dealing with his woman, you're like, fucking, no, I'm dealing with that same thing. We all out here living the same lives. That's why men collectively have this, for the most part, have come to the conclusion where they're like, you know what, man, I ain't dealing with women. I just ain't doing it anymore. All right. So yeah, and I encourage you to check out this video. Very edifying. And yeah, man. It's been on Elder Apostle Tahar Spirit a lot recently. Isaiah 4:1's at the door, man. The scriptures say in the book of Proverbs, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fool. So we have to be close to that destruction, because these women are proud as all hell. And as it says once again, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fool. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here for this video. I pray, Lord, excuse me. Yeah, I pray, Lord willing, it's been edifying. And until the next time, I say shalom. Stay up, stay strong.